welcome into the 8:05 post show as the sun is getting ready to set here on the first day of competition at the Hurley Pro Sunset Beach. What a fantastic first day of competition we had today. Welcome into the 8:05 post show. I'm AJ McCord alongside, of course, Megan Abubo and Peter Mel. Welcome in, you guys.
Good afternoon. What a day, right? I mean, to finish off on that last one, too, pretty much the heat of the day, really, with John's performance. We had Kelly Slater there towards the end of the day, but even the beginning of the day had some solid work done by the women. So overall, a lot to digest.
A lot to digest. We'll get into it, but Megan, what are your thoughts on the day?
Yeah, what an awesome day to start at Sunset Beach. This morning the ladies got some really nice waves. It was like 6 to 8 feet when we showed up at the beach. And then, there were some really competitive heats out there, and I loved seeing everybody on a little bit longer equipment. And then we went straight into the men. Everybody, some really high performances out there today.
That man included John Florence signing autographs after he gets his first heat win here at the Hurley Pro Sunset Beach. A 15.83 against Joao Chianca and Jackson Baker in the water with him. But John, this is a guy who knows how to turn, and he showed it off.
Yeah, turn and barrel ride. I mean, he's a magician. He really is. I mean, he sees stuff that no one else sees. He steers through stuff that no one else can do it. I mean, we saw the wave that he had at backdoor that was similar to that, where you just don't think he's going to make it, and all of a sudden he comes out at the perfect spot. And then he goes to turns, and he does things, and he is so into his equipment that, he is riding shorter boards. They got more curve and roundness to them. The tails are super narrow and thin. It allows him to ride these shorter boards but feel bigger so he can push on them. He's riding a 10-year-old pair of fins that are in the surfboard because he loves the flex pattern. That's how techie he is that he understands just the little differences. And he is able to communicate that to his shapers, to his surfboard designers, to his fin designers, and ultimately that's why he's a world champion.
So important, that relationship between surfer and shaper, especially when John has been working on his equipment for as long as he have. Of course, Joao Chianca, Jackson Baker also working on their equipment. So we'll get to hear from John, who won that last heat shortly, but there were a lot of good heats today, you guys. Megan, we talked about the women a little bit earlier, but I want to hear a little bit more. You talked about the competition and the great surfing that we saw. Dive into a little bit more of the women's surfing for me actually here in just a second. This is the opening round. This is heat 5. This is the one between Marshall, Eli Hanneman, and Robinson. So, Megan, what did you see in this heat?
Yeah, this was a really well-contested heat. It was really close, but honestly, it came down to the very end here. We had a good exchange. All surfers, catching great waves, but Eli in the end, he ended up getting him on his last wave, so that was a great exchange.
Well, we saw Jack basically fight back here. This is your rankings leader. He's using the yellow jersey. He's expected to win this heat. He did not have a good beginning of it, right? He was having a shocker, couldn't figure it out, and all of a sudden he put it all together on this wave, got himself the best number of the heat, needed to back up. He actually moved into second place at this point, but you were talking about that. When he caught that wave, he actually caught it with third priority. Remember that? He had the third priority, so just to even pick up the 733 was awesome. And then Eli, with all the patience in the world, he had priority when Jack got that wave. So that was a crushing blow because Jack thought he got it done at the end.
Yeah, and I think Eli caught that wave almost knowing that. He kind of surfed it knowing like, oh man, I gave that wave up. But he surfed it well enough to make it through.
So Jake Marshall getting the win there over Eli Hanneman and Jack Robinson. We had a few heats today that had quite a bit of drama to them, but the one that just wrapped up, John Florence had wrapped pretty well from the very beginning. Joao Chianca, Jackson Baker also putting up a very good fight. But let's hear from John Florence. He is down on the beach with Laura Ennever.
Yes, guys. Good afternoon, John. Last heat of the day, 15.83. That heat had fireworks in it. What were you seeing when you paddled out there?
The waves are actually really fun. It's kind of a fun size for Sunset. It's like good on the wide bowl. And there's just some nice, when I was paddling out, I saw some really clean waves. I was really excited to kind of get a lot of waves and do some turns. And after the heat ended, I was kind of sad I didn't get a lot of waves.
And you and Joao have a lot of good battles recently. Do you think you guys bring out the best in each other?
Yeah, we had a couple good battles last year. Some really fun heats with Joao. And so coming out here for this heat today, I didn't really know what was going to happen. I was just kind of focused on myself, and I was starting to get some waves, but I could just see him kind of going on one wave after another on the inside there. And it's hard when you're out there because you don't know if guys are getting 9s or 5s, and So it kind of, I'm like, I gotta get a wave.
And you've been obviously not present down at the comp site all day, just hanging at home. You didn't surf here this morning. How have you just been getting ready for this last heat of the day?
Yeah, last heat of the day sometimes hard. You're sitting around all day waiting for it, but I kind of just do my daily thing. I went for a surf this morning down at my house and just kind of hung out and then made my way down here and it felt pretty relaxed and kind of I like surfing heats like that.
Hope you got a front row park.
Yeah, Ross's friend's house, so we're good.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll let you go home and rest up for next round.
Cool, thank you.
Back to you guys.
Thank you, Laura. I love that from John just talking about there's so much mentality that comes into it, right? Whether you're the first heat or the last heat. But the thing I want to get into that I'm so curious about is the John and Joao thing that Laura pointed out. And I feel like there's already some old history, right, between a lot of these surfers. But what's your reaction now? Because Joao obviously had to battle back on the Challenger Series. This new season, Megan, how much does that feed into recent rivalry?
Oh, yeah, you always want to get them back. You always want to have a little revenge. But I feel like Joao and John have a nice, healthy rivalry. It's healthy competition. It's, no bad blood. So that brings out the best usually in competition.
And you think about John is he's already got 2 world titles, and Joao's trying to fight for, an event win, let alone. So he's always going to be just kind of the underdog. And I think that's something that I think Joao kind of, he comes to the occasion with it and likes it, and he wants to prove to everyone that he is one of the best, and I think so far he has. Even with those losses against John, he proved that he is really good at Pipeline, he's really good at Sunset Beach, and then the fact that he was able to fight back on the Challenger Series after such a crushing loss of the cut line, after the performances he put together, was pretty amazing stuff. So a lot to see from Joao.
And it was fun. And when I was talking to him at Pipeline, he talked about, I'm in the best headspace that I have been in. I am confident in what I'm riding. I'm confident in what I'm doing. And you can see that in his surfing. So it's been very fun to watch Joao the first few heats of this 2023 season. Someone else who's very fun to watch, I promised we'd get to the women, and here we are, okay? I want to take us back to the women's opening round. Heat number 3, Carissa Moore, Luana Silva, and Caroline Marks, Megan.
Oh, yeah, this was a great heat. Carissa really stood out in this heat. She was full rail carbs. Her equipment looked really good. I know she was riding a little longer board. And Luana Silva, really impressive in this heat as well. Really aggressive, I thought. Aggressive surfing from her. And managed to stay out of harm's way on that last maneuver that we saw there. But Carissa, again, just really impressive heat.
Yeah, and the one thing that I will take note of this is Caroline Marks, right? And Caroline Marks came out firing in her first couple seasons, and it's been a very slow comeback with her injury to come back into this. I mean, the Pipeline didn't have a great showing, so this is another heat that she's going to have to battle through the fact that she's like going, wait, did I lose it? So Caroline, this is an important next round for her. To get through that one, which she ended up doing, I think, right? So we're good there. She's into the next round of 16, but ultimately we want to see those performance lists for her.
Absolutely. So Carissa Moore getting the heat win with an 11.5. Luana Silva in at a 10.94. Luana battling back from a bit of a back injury that she had a few months ago. So good to see her in the water and riding as confidently as she was. Of course, the surf provided all day long. I felt like we got a little bit of a various conditions, if you will, but there was surfable, really, really fun waves all day long. So let's get into the Surfline forecast. And Pete, why don't you talk us through what we can expect based on this? Yeah, well, we expected the swell to kind of peak through the day and drop off through the evening, but we did get that last heat of the day with some quality surf there. So it still is good signs for tomorrow. Ultimately, you heard Jesse speak in regards to tomorrow, wanting to be able to finish the next 4 heats and then go into the elimination round for the men, maybe finish a half day. So that's something we're going to look at early in the morning tomorrow. But there's swell coming even on the back end there. So if you look at the next 4 days, we got another bump up for Wednesday afternoon, Thursday. Wednesday looks a little bit iffy in my eyes just because of the fact we've got these northerly angled winds, which aren't great for Sunset Beach. It handles it. If we had to run, we could, but ultimately we want clean conditions, and we've got opportunity and lots of time, right? So there is going to be plenty of waves coming in. It's just picking and choosing what that is. So, Jesse's got her work cut out to figure out the best moments to run this event. And that's why we see the quivers being so important, too, because the conditions change so much. You have to be ready for anything here at Sunset Beach. So We had a few surfers who were ready for absolutely everything today. So we have our top 5. I don't know how we really picked 5 moments out of how many great ones there were today. But let's get into it, shall we? The first one coming in at number 5, Kanoa Igarashi coming from behind in the opening round, heat number 1. Finished with a 13.64 in this one, Megan, fighting back.
Yeah, Kanoa just showing true grit here. Really impressive, not easy to come from behind. Kanoa just looking on point, super on rail. I love how spicy he is on his turns, too.
I think that was what makes Kanoa so strong, is that even if he has a rough start, psychologically, he's able to fight back and do no worries and get that back into the heat.
Speaking of fighting back, how about Stephanie Gilmore coming in at number 4? She was eliminated early at Pipe. You would not know it based on the way she surfed today. Came out looking very strong, very confident.
Yeah, Steph is looking so good today. Just really taking these big walls at Sunset Beach into her favor, and just part of her repertoire, big arcing turns. Steph's looking nice and polished, looking to definitely improve on Pipeline.
Let's talk about Brisa Hennessy, shall we? Coming in at number 3. She's off to a hot start. She knows a thing or two, Pete, about how to surf Sunset.
Yeah, and she didn't have an easy heat. And as a defending champion, to be able to keep your nerve together and get a heat win is a positive sign for Brisa to be able to back up the result that she had. Already a quarterfinal at Pipeline, so things are looking good for her. I mean, you never know at the start of a year. I mean, you could finish with 2/17 at the start of the year, and you're like, oh no, what am I going to do about the cut line? But not for Brisa. She's able to get good starts going on here, and that's where she's been proven is the big CT win at Sunset Beach.
And that's a good point about just having that confidence as you're defending your title. Let's talk about on number 2, we're going to double dip, shall we? Seth Moniz and John Florence with their 8.33s and a pair of barrels.
Right, I know. The judges were loving the barrels today, and these guys knew it. Seth just sneaking into that one. Sunset Beach and the barrels, not easy.
But you can find them, right? Pete, John finding one.
This guy can, and they're fairly rare. And today wasn't a barrel riding day. Generally, if you get a bit more of a north angled swell, you'll see them focus on the inside bowl more. We see a couple more barrels on that inside bowl, but the 2 best found it today. But this guy was on fire.
Talking about the best, coming in at number 1 of our top 5 moments, Ethan Ewing, razor sharp with a 9.0.
Yeah, Ethan Ewing just really honing in his anti-iron nest style here, just looking like he owns Sunset Beach today.
I love the precision that he carries, the speed through his moves. It was very impressive and well-deserved, the 9-point ride.
Very, very well-deserved. Altogether, a really fun first day of competition here at the Hurley Pro Sunset Beach. Cannot wait to get it all started. Again, next call tomorrow morning, 7:45 a.m. Hawaiian time. Hopefully, we get as good of a day as we had today. Thanks for joining us, guys, on the 8:05 Post Show. We'll see you tomorrow.
Morning from Sunset Beach. We've got some surfers arriving. The hype machine is on, and it's Mother Nature.
When I close my eyes, yeah, my chest gets loud.
Here goes Golden Gilmore. Wow, beautiful slice right there.
When I think of the word Sunset Beach, I think of challenge.
Carissa Moore in the yellow jersey, throwing a lot of spray out the back.
We have the men's in the water. I am excited, buddy.
You are, dude. You're spitting flames.
Woo!
Look at her!
I'd love to win over here. It's almost like a war with the ocean, Sunset's one of the hardest waves, in my opinion, in the world to surf. You definitely have to surf this wave and know kind of what you're doing.
Here we go, Ethan Ewing. Beautiful gouging turn. 9-point ride. Ewing again, excellent at Sunset.
Just managed to lock into a really good wave.
The fastest surfer in the world, Filipe Toledo. What? Are you kidding me? Woo! That was just fire flying off the rail right there.
This copyrighted event broadcast is produced by the World Surf League for broadcast around the world and may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the written consent of the World Surf League.